Hey, the internet, y'all got us all the way up. We met that dude, Duke the Jeweler, the night before. We was gambling. The next day, dude followed us to the concert. When we left out the concert, we under the garage, dude went to his car by himself and walked down to the parking lot. That's when somebody tried to make
He's the one that's tied to the dude that makes the loaded dice. Right? Check the play out. All entertainers, when you go to Houston, stay away from Jay Prince Jr. The whole play going on. Here go the play right here. The play is a loaded dice.
A jeweler named Duke recently got killed, and the story's really messed up. So I want you to talk about what happened.
Blood-stained dice rolled across the velvet table. The room was all smiles, but only one man would leave breathing. Duke the Jeweler didn't die broke. He died in a den of wolves. Now Mob Ties has blood on its hands, and the feds know it. This wasn't a robbery. It was an execution, not carried out by masked men in some back alley, but right after Duke left Boosie's dice game, surrounded by the very people who dapped him up one moment and might have been sending silent signals the next. Those same faces are now under federal heat, and now 50 Cent is stirring the pot, reposting whispers, leaking receipts, and hinting at a setup far more elaborate than anyone imagined. Here's the chilling twist. Just 2 weeks before Takeoff's eerily similar dice game murder, Duke had been the one dominating a J. Prince Jr. game. In this world, the wrong man winning is the wrong man living too long. Now, the whole Mob Ties circle, Boosie, J. Prince Jr., Lil Cam, is being watched. What started as hushed conversations is turning into official warrants. From the outside, Duke looked untouchable, a Chicago native who built his empire from the ground up. He wasn't just selling flashy chains to new rappers, he was designing for big-name clients with serious money. His Houston trip wasn't pleasure, it was business. Boosie had reportedly invited him to discuss a custom piece, so Duke brought a $1 million Louis Vuitton duffel full of his best work. What he didn't know, that meeting would double as his final goodbye. According to leaked audio from Whack 100, someone with real street ties, this was no casual dice game. Allegedly, J. Prince Jr. runs what's now being called a loaded dice ring. The same three men, Lil Cam, Big Capri, and Wolf, are always at the table, rotating the dice like a ritual. The house always wins, unless someone breaks the cycle, and when they do, it's game over, literally.
Man,
Well, that night,
someone made the wrong move. According to Whack 100, Duke somehow slipped past the safe dice rotation, the ones that were allegedly loaded, and started winning big. First hundreds, then thousands, then tens of thousands, fast. In a rigged game, that's not just luck, that's a threat. Insiders claim J. Prince Jr. takes 30% of every dice night's earnings. So when Duke started bleeding the table dry, the smiles in that room turned into clenched jaws. And Duke wasn't playing quiet. He was iced out head to toe, tossing stacks like it was confetti, filming his hot streak for Instagram. Then, in the footage, something strange. Boosie makes a soft whistle, barely audible. His nephew immediately turns to lock eyes with Duke. A man in a red hoodie taps the nephew's arm, almost like a signal. The room's energy shifts. Duke's laughing 1 minute, and the next. It feels like the air is counting down. Minutes later, Duke is dead. The whole thing reeks of premeditation. Why would Boosie invite someone wearing over $1 million in jewelry to a dice game without security? Why didn't J. Prince Jr. have protection in place for an out-of-town jeweler carrying that kind of heat? When Duke left the game, there was no security, no driver, just him, walking alone through a dark Houston parking lot after being surrounded by millions in cash and jewelry. Then, gunshots, an ambush. And here's the part that breaks the robbery narrative. Nothing was taken. Duke still had every chain, every ring, every dollar. So if it wasn't about stealing, what was it about? The most damning detail? The Louis Vuitton duffel, stuffed with Duke's unreleased custom designs, didn't disappear. It turned up in Boosie's house. Houston PD confirmed it. Whether Duke Duke handed it over for safekeeping or it got there another way is unknown, but the fact remains, the bag made it back to Boosie. Duke didn't. Boosie's explanation? A shaky Instagram live filmed from a plane, claiming he barely knew Duke and that Duke just walked off. But when the only thing that survives the night is the bag, and not the man, it's hard to call that chance.
Hard time, but never gave up. I stayed tough, even when I got my chain stuck. Go through hard time, but we know that what made us. Can't blame us, we love the script, cause that what paid us. Yeah, ain't gonna ask, I know them niggas laid off. I call King, I get the president going where I'm up. I can't even find no, I'm not trying to stay up.
Didn't you say Duke was going to make you a custom chain? You barely knew him, but you invited him to a private dice game and let him walk to his car alone after flashing $1 million in jewelry. Something ain't clicking. Then he continued.
Some dude tried to rob him. Some dude tried to rob him. Some dudes had tried to rob me and walked off by himself. I had just met dude yesterday. They try to rob dude, man. Dude must ain't get up.
Folks with flight Zach, report number 2 for departure, flight into this place, Barrett County.
Just met dude.
Let's be real, Boosie didn't exactly look like an innocent man. His face was pale, his demeanor tense, and if that seemed bad, the next part is worse. The feds, already sniffing around Boosie for other legal trouble, pulled Duke's case out and opened a standalone federal investigation. No delays, no waiting behind older charges, just a laser focus on Duke's death. Step 1, track the phone. Duke's last cell ping came from Boosie's recording studio. Unless that phone got up and walked there on its own, someone from Boosie's circle brought it there. And they didn't even try to cover their tracks. No wipe, no smash, no toss in a river. The phone just went dark right after the ping, meaning it was switched off by hand. That's what got federal agents fired up. Then came the rental car search. Forensics pulled fingerprints, Boosie's nephew and Boosie's cousin, both on record. And then, a twist. A witness outside the building smoking reported seeing Duke walk alone toward his car. No tension, no rush. But then, out of the shadows, Boosie's nephew appeared, like he'd been waiting. Duke must have felt the shift, because the witness says he swung first, trying to defend himself. But it didn't matter. In one motion, the nephew allegedly drew a gun and fired. And here's the chilling part. There was no robbery, nothing taken, not the jewelry, not the cash, not the $1 million bag. This wasn't about stealing, it was about silencing. And instead of dumping the evidence, they kept the bag. That's not carelessness, that's arrogance. 50 Cent noticed too. He pointed out a fact many in the industry whisper about. In Houston, there's an unspoken rule: check in with J. Prince Jr. and the Mob Ties Circle. No official document, no contract, but everyone from rappers to influencers to athletes knows it. The catch? What happens when the same people you're checking in with are the ones setting you up? J. Prince Jr. hosted that dice game where Duke died, the same way he hosted the one where Takeoff was killed. Now, that so-called check-in culture doesn't feel like protection. It feels like a trap. And when two high-profile guests end up dead under the same host's watch, even Whack 100 couldn't keep quiet.
Entertainer invites him in. Act like he's covering for him, hanging out, everything is cool. Let's go here, let's go there, let's go here, let's go there. He introduces the dice game. He got 3 right, who rotate the dice. Now these dice is loaded. Tell me it's a Wolf, Big Caprice, and watch this, and Little Cam are the loaded dice rotators. Right? He said, what? There was a situation that occurred that a certain jeweler round and got past the dice on accident and was hitting on them for a couple hundred. They got irritated about that. I ain't gonna go too far into that story because, right? Boom. The only way they could get their money back was however money back. He said, but Lil Cam, Wolf, and Big Caprice are the 3 designated to say I'm up, I got the next, and they pass the dice to each other, but they loaded, but they shoot.
He called it a scam ring and said Jay Prince Jr. invites entertainers, plays the friend card, gets them comfortable, then walks them into a dice game where his people surround them.
Jeweler. I gotta do my research, see what jeweler might have been down there shooting dice. But nevertheless, to all the entertainers, you know, Dukes of Hazzard was one of my favorite shows, right? I don't know if y'all watched that. I was thinking about Daisy Dukes for a reason. I don't know why I said that. You know, one might go with it, may not go with it, but I don't know. If the math is math, and let it math. But entertainers, beware. Oh, with Jay Prince Jr., when he talked about let's go shoot some dice. Because the loaded dice crew at 3 Cam Wolf and Big Caprice. We know Lil Cam in there because I believe somehow, some way, he was caught up in the dice situation. Rest in peace, Takeoff. I don't know what's going on. But what I do know this, Jay Prince Jr. got a whole thing, and when y'all come into town, hold on, bro. Didn't they say Fifth Ward earlier that day shooting dice?
Yep, that's a fact. That word been out, Wack. That word been out. We been out that memo.
And then, so I've been getting hit all day, and it got to the point at the thing, Quavo like, getting into dice. That's what this nigga Jay Prince Jr., boy, these niggas got all kind of shit going on down there. He said the jeweler nigga got past the dice. He didn't even know the motherfuckers was loaded. He just think he hitting. These niggas is mad as a motherfucker. Cause they like, nigga, how you pass this nigga the loaded dice? Oh no.